I'm going to show you how to generate AI avatars that look and sound exactly like you. No matter the clothes that you're wearing, the camera angles you're using, or the background that you're in, you will remain completely unchanged. And if you're wondering how I made my AI avatar, well, you're in the right place, because here's exactly how I did it. There are 4 steps that go into creating a realistic clone of yourself. Step number 1 is making realistic AI images of yourself. Then for the next step, we will turn those images into videos. Specifically, we're talking about short form content. And then I will also show you how to make good looking cinematic B-roll and also B-roll for ad type videos of yourself. And lastly, I will teach you how you can clone yourself for long form videos for YouTube. We will be using 3 tools for this. For 90% of this video, we will be using Higgsfield to make our images or videos and even for a bit of voice clone. The second tool that we will be using is HeyGen. We will be using that for the long form videos. And lastly, this tool is optional. We can use ElevenLabs to make a better sounding voiceover of yourself. But you can also do this in Higgsfield. So I will show you all the different techniques. I will also leave a link to all of these tools in the description down below. Okay, segment 1, creating realistic images of yourself. There are 2 different ways how you can do this. The first method is using a character sheet. This is by far the easiest method. All you have to do is you need to use one image of yourself, put it inside of Nano Banana, then add in this prompt, then you hit generate, and then you will have yourself a character sheet. By the way, I will leave all of my prompts in my free Skool community where you can find everything that I've used for this video. As you can see, this is the easiest way to create multiple different angles of yourself, to create full body shots, and this will be the sheet that we will use to feed the AI information about what you look like. Now for me, I looked at this, it's pretty accurate. Like the moles that I have on my face, even that annoying pimple that I had in my reference, like all of that is in there. Even my shirt that's oversized is being portrayed here, although I wouldn't wear this with black trousers, but hey, that's a choice of Nano Banana there. So this is the first method of how you can create a character sheet that you can use to make images of yourself. The second method is one of my favorites. It requires a bit more work, but it is creating your own Soul ID character. So I've made my own character right here, but the way this is made is by having a million different images of myself. Basically, you need 20, and I actually had a friend of mine take a lot of different photos with me, different styles, different poses, to feed it as much data as possible. But then again, this is a bit of friction, and this requires you to find someone who can make these good looking images of you, and not everyone has the time or the money to do that. So if you still want to make your own character on Higgsfield, the best way to do it is through using this document. This document, again, you can find this in my free Skool community, contains like 20 different prompts of 20 different poses that you can use to make different angles of you. So you can feed that to this character ID, and this way you can make your own character sheet and you can use Soul ID for this next step. So all you have to do is you have to copy this, go over to Higgsfield, create an image, use something like Nano Banana Pro or Nano Banana 2, then just enter it in the resolution that you like. So in my case, I'm just going with 16:9, and then you hit generate, and then you will get something like this. So here we have a close-up, looks like me. It's a bit too much in my face, but this is good to feed that the AI. So it has accurate and sharp details of what your face look like, what the details in your face look like. And just in general, once you have your Soul ID, this becomes a lot more powerful. Like if I switch over to Higgsfield Soul right now, I can add in my character right here. So I can actually use the Dan updated version here, and then I can just prompt it to whatever I want, and I can make cinematic looking images just like this one. We even have the 2 little hairs that are on my forehead right here, and even the facial hair, like all of it just looks like me. Here's another example where even like the acne scars that I have on the side of my head are visible there. And I used a reference image of someone's pose, like I used this as a pose reference image. This looks just like me, but with glasses on. So this is my preferred way of using Soul ID over the Nano Banana method. If you're not using Higgsfield, don't worry, both work. And I will show you both of them later. Now that you've you've made your character sheet and your character ID, it's now time to turn those images of yourself into videos. In particular, right now, I will show you how to do this for short form video. We will be creating something like this. You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code. But here's the real kicker. You don't need any coding experience. What you are seeing right now looks like a website created by a professional, but it only took me 15 minutes to create. And here's exactly how I did it. All of that, besides the editing, was made using AI. So let me show you how I made this. So the first step is to create visuals with that character sheet that you just made. To come up with your prompt for this, I've made this MD file for you that you can download in the resources. Basically what you do is you upload that MD file into your Claude or into your ChatGPT, whatever you're using. Then you also upload your character sheet. So I have my character sheet right here, and then you can give it a simple prompt and it will help you figure out what you want to do. So after I do this, it will start creating me a good prompt that I could use. This is just an example of how you can get your prompt. Then you copy that prompt and you take it back to Higgsfield and then you paste it in there. Also attach your character sheet. And in this regard, we're going with a 9:16 image in Nano Banana 2 and then you hit generate. This is the image it made for me. And this is quite familiar with the setup that I'm actually rocking. Like I also have a similar type table. I also have a keyboard in front of my laptop, and then it comes up with something like this, and I would say this looks just like me. Even the setup looks familiar, even though I didn't instruct it how my current setup looks like. Now we have this image that we can use for talking heads videos for Instagram. Make sure you download this, and then you can bring this over to video, and then you go over to Kling 3.0. Here we are uploading it as a start frame, and then we're adding in our prompt. For the prompt right here, I'm going with a fixed camera. Man is looking directly at the camera, says with sharp conviction. You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code. Then I give it a few instructions like what I want to have happen. Like for example, on professional websites, I want both hands to come up off the desk. I basically made this prompt using the exact same method with Claude, and I have a different MD file for you for this. Again, you can find this in the Skool community. For the duration, try to match this with how long you think this will take. I thought this would take like 6 seconds, so I hit generate after that, and then I got this video.
You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like me at all. I don't know what that voice is, but we gotta change this. So there are two ways to do this. The first method is if you're already using Higgsfield, you can go over to audio, you can go over to voiceover. So here you can create your own custom voice clone. This is using ElevenLabs. You need up to 2 minutes of your speech to train your voice. So I've already done that right here. And then what you can do is you can go over to the voice changer, then you can upload your video in here, and then you can hit generate. I just did that right here. So this is that same video.
You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code.
So yeah, that sounds already a lot better. That sounds more like me, but it's still not exactly like me. And I'm not gonna gatekeep this next method to you guys. If you want to have the best of the best voice, you need, unfortunately, another subscription. Because for this, you will be needing the professional voice clone from ElevenLabs. And this will require you to have a subscription that allows you to make this professional voice clone where you can upload up to 30 minutes of your own voice, which takes a while, but it will give you the best voice. So I've done it already right here. Then you use that voice right here in the voice section, and then you add in your text. So I've added in the same text. I've made a few changes to the speed. So I've made me talk a little bit faster because mine was quite slow. Then you play around with the stability, the similarity, and the style exaggeration. And then you click on generate. So that will give you something like this. You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code. Then you download that voice, and I've tried all the different methods doing this. You could use voice changer, but you could also go to image and video, and then you go over here and you go over to lip syncing, and then you choose sync lip sync to pro. Now you add in your video and you add in that voice that you just downloaded, and then you hit send, and now you have something like this. You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code. Again, if we put both side by side, then you will hear that this one sounds a bit more like me. You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code.
You can now create professional websites in minutes using Claude Code.
But still, if you only want to have one subscription, Higgsfield does the job. Now we've just done one sentence at one camera angle, but if you want to change camera angles like this, then you need to create a side angle of yourself. So I just did this right here. I said change the angle to a slightly elevated side angle shot, looking down, camera position to the far right of the desk, capturing the man from the side angle. Do not change the pose of the person or the color or contrast of the scene. And I added in the original image of me sitting behind the desk and the character sheet. Now, then I just used Nanobanana 2 and that made this shot. Then just to get the exact result that I want, I made another shot where I have my finger pointed up and I have me looking at the camera, so I can use this one as a start and end frame. So then I basically took both of these images, put it inside of Kling. I added this as a start frame, then I added the one with the finger up as an end frame, and then I added this prompt and then I hit generate. So then we have this.
But here's the real kicker.
Again, we need to change the voice here. It's a lot of manual labor here, but you get the point. Like all the best videos that you see online will use this method, especially if it is short form with a lot of cuts in there. I will show you how to do Lehigien in a little bit, but first let me teach you now how to make B-roll of yourself. Adding in B-rolls is actually the part that's often overlooked by a lot of people. They just have a Heijian character of themselves talking for like 5 or 10 minutes. But as you saw with our short form video, having B-roll is a lot more engaging than no B-roll. And just to give you an example, take a look at these two videos. Here's one with B-roll and one without. I tried dozens of climbing chalk, but I keep coming back to this one. And here's why. I tried dozens of climbing chalk, but I keep coming back to this one. And here's why. So that was a super short example, but this is exactly how UGC style videos get made. So if you want to make something like that yourself, then let me show you how. So the first step is to create images of yourself holding the product. And it's basically some climbing chalk. So it's in this kind of like supplement bag. So again, we're starting with the character sheet, and then second, we're using an image of the product that we want to have in our video. Then you put in your prompt. Again, I made this prompt using the MD file that I shared with you before, and then you hit generate. That got me this image. Then I still found that this image was not good enough, so I just asked it to zoom in a little bit. And then I ended up with this finished result. So this is the first image that we have of me. Then I also made another image of just the bag, and then I said a candid authentic close-up, shot of a male hand holding the black rung mag dust, climbing chalk bag close to the lens in a climbing gym. So here we have the product. So this is one B-roll that I made. Here's another one with the bag open, and here's a third one of me standing with the bag right there. This is the B-roll that we can now use to animate this. Then basically I repeated all of the previous steps by animating this in Kling. The way I prompted my video is as follows. I'm using the following prompting structure. So I'm using the camera plus the subject plus the action plus the environment plus the lighting plus the texture and the audio. Not all of them are necessary. The main things you need is the camera, the subject and the action. So we have a fixed camera, then we have the subject. Because I'm already adding in a reference, it already understands that this is the man. Then we're adding in the action, which is nodding slowly. He's silently impressed at the product and he shows the climbing chalk product to the camera, giving his thumbs ups. That's all still action. And then I'm also describing the environment. So he's in a climbing gym. There are climbers climbing the walls in the background, and then I'm adding in the light. There's natural overhead light and no dialogue. That's all the prompts that I'm giving in here to get to this result. I kind of do the same thing with this shot. And this shot as well. And that gives some pretty good B-roll. But now let me show you how we can make more cinematic looking B-roll. Here's an example of the cinematic B-roll I'm talking about. For this, we will be using Higgsfield Sol, Nanobanana 2, and also Higgsfield Cinema Studio, and that creates some pretty good results. We're starting with generating the image, and for this, we will be using Higgsfield Sol, because what I found out that it's pretty good with reference images. So I'm gonna upload this reference image of this pose and style that I like a lot. And I don't know why, but when you upload this in Sol, it doesn't give you the ability to prompt. So all we can do is just add in ourselves as a reference, and then we hit generate. Make sure to select it at 2K by the away because that gives you the best result. And now we hit generate. Now that gave me this result and it wrote the prompt itself. So that's what Higgsfield Sol does. It has this custom prompt setting that you can use. This is pretty good already, but if you want to customize it and make it even better, then you want to use this as a reference. And now you want to use this for Nano Banana 2. So you're going to switch over to Nano Banana 2 or Nano Banana Pro, doesn't really matter. Then you can change this image to whatever you want. So for example, I don't want to be using the same clothes over and over again, and I want me to be passing through the door. So I'm going to change the clothes of the man to a warm brown jacket and a little bit more details about my exact outfit. I'm going to change my positioning to be more in the background so that it looks like I'm just exiting the store and then I'm still focused on my phone. I generated this and here's the finished result. Now we can animate it. So I'm just gonna download it and we're gonna go over to Higgsfield Cinema Studio. Then you go over to the director panel and you upload your image in there. After uploading your image, you want to switch over to multi-shot. This all depends on what type of shot you want to create. I did multi-shot manual because as you saw in my scene, I made 3 different scenes in the same 10-second generation. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to describe what I want to have happen in my scene. So for the first scene, I want to have a fixed camera. The man walks forward until he's close to the frame and then he stops, all while he's paying attention to the phone. I keep this at 5 seconds long and then I do the same for scene number 2. So I'm just describing what I want to have happen. So now I have a over-the-shoulder shot and I have a notification on my phone, we need to talk. Then I'm making this 3 seconds long. Then we're switching to scene number 3 and here we have a close-up side angle of a slow zoom in of the man thinking. And then you hit generate. This might take you a few tries though, and sometimes it can happen that your first 2 scenes are good but your last scene is pretty bad. If you make multiple different variations, then you can mix and match the best scenes to get the best results. Literally from every AI professional that I've spoken to, they make so many generations. Of course, your budget needs to allow that, but these guys burn through credits just to get that perfect shot, and they just don't wait on prompting it. They just generate 50 times and get the best result. For my video, it took me a couple tries and then I mixed and matched the best scenes to get this result. Lastly, let me show you how you can create long-form videos of yourself that look and sound just like you. Here's what we will create. I'm going to show you how I generate AI avatars that look and sound exactly like me. No matter the background, the clothing, or the camera angles, you will remain completely unchanged. Here's how I generate my AI avatars. The best thing is you don't even have to record a video of yourself. All I did is I took a screenshot like this of myself. Now I uploaded a screenshot of myself into HeyGen, and then I'm also adding in a ElevenLabs voice note of myself. This could be your real voice that you can just record just before this, or you can use your voice clone that you already made in the previous steps. So then you add in the audio. Then you make sure that you're using Avatar 4 and then you change the setting to whatever you want, in my case landscape, and I want to have the fill screen. Then we hit send and now it's gonna generate our avatar through HeyGen. I'm going to show you how I generate AI avatars that look and sound exactly like me. It's literally as simple as that. The cool thing here though is that you can change yourself into any type of setting. So for example, let's say I don't like this background, or let's say you don't have a background like me. Like this studio, for example, I'm being lit up by 4 different lamps. What you can do is you can just use an image of yourself, put it inside of Nano Banana and get it any background that you want. For example, what I did right here is I put in this image of me, then I gave it the following prompt where I want to change the background to be in an aquarium. It also adjusted the lighting for me, and now I have this cool new background that I can animate inside of HeyGen. And if I do that, then I get something like this. I'm going to show you how I generate AI avatars that look and sound exactly like me. I've also found a bit of a cheat code that lets you get any type of background that you want. Basically, all you have to do is you have to remove your background. You can do this inside of Nano Banana. So all I did is change the background to pure green. Do not change the foreground at all. So here we have me with a pure green screen background. Then I download this and then I put this inside of HeyGen, and then it gives me this video, but with a completely green background. Now you have to just download this, and then you can put it inside something like CapCut. And all you have to do in CapCut is you have to select your clip, then you click on auto removal from the background, and now it's automatically rotoscoping you. So now you have no background behind you. Then you can put any type of video behind you. So for example, in this case, I have this video of the aquarium, but without me in it. And I just put it on top. And now we have the fish moving around me while I'm in that situation. So yeah, that's the more advanced way of how you can make long form videos of yourself. If you're serious about this, I would recommend getting a Ultimate or Creator plan on Hixfield because you'll be using it quite a lot. The benefit of that is that you don't need to have a fancy recording studio. You can literally be in any type of situation and you can make cool looking videos from anywhere in the world without having access to a good microphone or anything. You just have to set it up right once. I will leave the link to all the tools in the description down below. I will also leave a link to my school where you can find all of my prompts so you can play around with this for yourself. Make sure to click the video that's on the screen right now if you want to learn how to mix real footage together with AI.